During your time in Night City, you've undoubtedly stopped at several food vendors. Whether it be with Jackie, Takemura, or on your own time, there tends to be a unifying lack of quality in your meal. The explanation behind just why Takemura hates Night City street food is the exact reason every citizen just tries to avoid thinking about it. The majority of meat products are made from SCOP, single-cell organic proteins, the most popular and cheapest varieties being from worms or insects grown on protein farms, such as the Biotechnica flats located southwest of Night City, a greenhouse farm region owned entirely by the Biotechnica Corporation, protein that is then shipped off to their subsidiary, All Foods, where it has been flavored and textured to resemble organic food. Alongside having majority control of Night City's protein supply, Biotechnica are behind some of the most impressive, world-altering discoveries of the dark future. The most impactful being Chew-2, the synthetic fuel and replacement for fossil fuels. So just who and what is the Biotechnica Corporation? How did they form? And just how much have they become ingrained in the daily life of Night City and world history? Today, I will be analyzing and breaking down the complete history of Biotechnica and their impact behind bioengineering. This is the unraveling and truth behind the world's most influential science-based corporation, Biotechnica. Let's begin. During the 1990s, the Biotechnica Corporation sprouted in Rome, Italy, with a singular office, an extremely humble start to what it would eventually grow to be. However, it wasn't long before it took the world spotlight amidst the 1991 energy crisis. Within this time period, there was a dwindling supply of fossil fuel on a global scale, to the point it had begun to affect the industrialized community. While the entire sector and world economies were scrambling to solve the impending disaster, Biotechnica, despite its lack of funding and size, came up with the answer. A newly developed replacement for fossil fuel by the name of Chew-2, a complex grain, alcohol, produced by genetically engineered yeast and wheat strands that were also created by Biotechnica, meaning that this process and all of its components entirely belonged to them. While Biotechnica held the exclusive worldwide patents, there is a major issue. They had punched well above their weight with the scale of this creation. Biotechnica's size prevented them from keeping up with the supply and demand the world would need. So rather than holding this breakthrough hostage, they sold the exclusive license for the production and distribution of Chew-2 to Petrochem. The potential of this substitute would almost immediately be recognized, and within a few years, all fuel-burning vehicles and power plants had converted to the new product. It had become the new standard fuel. So capitalizing on its success, the board of directors sold a license to 14 other manufacturers around the world. However, Petrochem remained responsible for 60% of the world's supply, and even supplies every gas station across the USA, maintaining a covert monopoly on all Chew-2 sales. Biotechnica's initial discovery and continued innovation raised their capital by a huge margin and officially labeled them as a mega corporation. As a result of their newfound reputation, Arasaka had been brought in to negotiate deals and settled on a mutual beneficial agreement. In exchange for Arasaka's troops and security, Biotechnica would provide exclusive biological weapons. With such an influential discovery and brilliant scientists behind the scenes, it was only a matter of time before Biotechnica broke new ground. However, this second discovery would be kept secret due to it being outlawed almost entirely around the world. In 2004, Francis Young was successful in human cloning experiments. While the initial success was impressive, it wasn't until 16 years later, in 2020, that he succeeded in producing the first self-aware human clone by implanting a construct personality. This self-viable human clone would be named Adriana and shared an identical appearance with Francis Young's daughter, who was killed in a traffic accident. However, she did not have Amelia's memories or exact personality. The knowledge contained was a template drawn from several people, assembled in a computer as an AI, and downloaded into a complete body. At that very moment, she was the pinnacle of biological and cybernetic technology, representing a Stage 7 clone, self-aware, self-viable, and indistinguishable from natural human beings. Despite this, the development with Adriana's personality was artificial and incomplete, but soon enough, experimentation with natural, digitized personalities was pushed, a process that shared similar tech to the Soul Killer program. By this time, the main R&D cloning facility in Night City had a staff of about 200 scientists and security. Beyond this discovery, the biggest goal for Biotechnica was to bring back the flora and fauna that changed significantly in the 1990s due to climate changes. They hold facilities worldwide specializing in this field, slowly trying to rebuild the environment. In the 2020s, they created a natural park in Night City known as Lake Park. They also cloned animals in an attempt to preserve them and sell to people for a high profit margin. So, when the Fourth Corporate War sparked in 2021 between the Oceanic Corps, OTEC, and Sino, Biotechnica would remain as neutral as possible, allowing them to get through the war without many problems. Even when the war escalated and became a full-scale conflict between Militech and Arasaka, Biotechnica would supply both sides. However, due to their previous deals with Arasaka and their continued protective support from the security sector, Arasaka got many exclusive devices behind the scenes, unbeknownst to Militech. During the time of Red, a period from August 2023 to the late 2040s, Biotechnica was the closest thing to a good guy corporation. Its labs provided much of the tech that enabled the Pacific Confederation to develop new bioengineered replacement species, and Biotechnica was active in restoring both animals and habitats throughout the blighted environments of this era, a consequence of the Fourth Corporate War. The then CEO and leader of Biotechnica, Niccolo Logagia, continued his work on bioengineered flora and fauna to restore his favorite ecosystems. He even went further to recreate some of the most interesting extinct animals throughout history. However, he did so with some major alterations. He had redesigned many of his favorite animals to have both defense and offensive capabilities that they previously lacked. One of his creations involved a koala with venomous fangs. All of this was a result of a fear that greedy forces of the world would destroy his reborn creations. By the time the 2070s rolled around, Biotechnica continued its work towards rebuilding the environment, but also began participating in researching various vaccines and future medicine products as the effects of climate change began to take its toll on humans. At this point in time, Biotechnica had already built protein farms all along the Badlands of Night City, immense tent-like structures specializing in the production of synthetic protein on a massive scale, acting as the base product for much of Night City's food source. These landscapes weren't unique to Night City. Biotechnica managed farms like this worldwide. One night, sometime in the 2070s, after getting drinks in the afterlife, Sasha Yakovleva and Maine's crew of edgerunners were hired to infiltrate Biotechnica's Night City HQ to extract secret financial records of Chu-2 and information on a new immunosuppressant prototype. While getting the information, Sasha discovered confidential files on cetirizine, the painkillers her mother used while she was sick. A main side effect of a painkiller included gradual neurodegeneration, and that, despite this being known, Biotechnica decided that it was too profitable and would not be pulled from the market. Sasha, determined to do right by her mother, decided to upload the entire cetirizine database to the N54 News tip line and activated a bomb in consequence of getting detected. She fought Biotechnica defense robots until the upload got complete. However, while the upload had completed, she would be shot through the window and killed, leaving Maine to find her body with a smile. While the truth came to light, Biotechnica remained. In 2077, the corporation was considered the third biggest and best place to work for in Night City. This is the dark future we are speaking of. Despite Biotechnica's reputation as a good guy corporation, good workplace conditions, positive contributions to society, it's committed its fair share of questionable experiments and atrocities, just like the deadly painkillers. The most notable of these being in relation to the Red Ochre Nomad clan. Biotechnica's regional director for tech and development, Dr. Joanne, aided by colleagues Alex and Diana, were responsible for the unscrupulous capture of nomads of the Red Ochre clan. Using them as test subjects for a project called Nightingale resulted in the deaths of 70 clan members. To prevent a leak of the affair, Dr. Joanne also ordered Biotechnica security to have her colleague Amelia killed. Media Manuel Mendoza, who started investigating Project Nightingale, befell a similar fate. Despite her best efforts to offer the nomads hush money in return for their quote-unquote forgiveness, the clan wanted blood, and to get it, they reached out to the fixer of downtown Night City, Dino Dinovic, who in turn put out a hit on Joanne, which a Solo V picked up to ensure the nomads' vengeance. Evidence of further experiments can be found in an extremely disturbing shard on Clemens Street leading to Pacifica in the Biotechnica flats. It's located on a dead body next to a tanker and details an archived conversation between a Charlie's Fury and Dakota Smith. Charlie's is running with a crew that has just escaped a heist on Biotechnica in order to save several women who were artificially fertilized. Their vehicle had given out, and Fury is told that if worse comes to worse, ditch everyone and save at least one of the mothers. In the Nomad camp, we can even access a laptop that has the Biotechnica site pulled up. News reads, scientists in Rome have successfully spliced human brain cells with wolf embryos. Ever since the majority of governments outlawed the destruction of hybrid embryos, there have been more and more efforts to create ... end quote. Despite all of these experiments and information, Saul Bright, leader of an Aldecados clan outside of Night City, was negotiating with Biotechnica to have his clan work for them in exchange for reverse transpiration xerophytes, equipment to help his clan grow crops in the Badlands and thereby be more self-efficient. Although Saul sought to enter his clan into a more permanent working relationship with Biotechnica in order to provide his people with a steady income, this notion was very unpopular among his followers and thus never came to fruition. Alright, chooms, that was every piece of information pertaining to Biotechnica known to us since its inception to the year of 2077. Despite being an extremely useful resource to humanity in its research, it remains just as corrupt and harmful as any other, through its abuse of the market, biological weapons, human experiments, and more. I hope you all enjoyed the video and learned something new. If you're a fan of Cyberpunk and want to keep up to date with its news, lore, theories, and overall future, I'd suggest subscribing to my channel and checking out my other content. I would greatly appreciate having you along for the future. As always, thanks to all the channel members up on screen. I'm lucky to have your support and to be a part of the Cyberpunk community like I am. I look forward to continuing my content creation and furthering my quality with every video. So make sure to be on the lookout and to have a great week. See you later, chooms.